Welcome to Pro Practice, your guide to refine, enliven, and illuminate the piano repertoire. I'm Josh Wright, and today's episode is part of the new technique series, where with each technique video we go over a specific key. Today we'll be doing D flat major and C sharp minor, and we'll go over all the scales, arpeggios, triads, and seventh chords. And in addition to going over the fingerings and getting all the notes correct, we're going to go over a unique way to practice these. Each of these videos in this series will go over a unique way to practice, so that by the end of the series you'll have at least 12 different unique ways to practice these things to help you become as efficient as you can, to help spur that creativity, and so you don't get too bored with just practicing slow to fast with metronome or hands low to hands together only. Hopefully we get a lot of good ideas flowing so that you can become as efficient as possible. All right, so let's start with scales today. And I want to go over the idea of contrasting and parallel motion. Okay, so this is something we haven't done yet. Let's just go over 2 octaves, first of all, with D flat major in the right hand. Okay, so our fingering is going to be 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Again, every scale boils down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. When we first start D flat major, we're going to just start on a 2, so it's the end of a 1, 2, 3 figuration. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if that helps you to organize it, another thing I've said in almost every single video is focus on where your 4th finger goes, because it only comes once per octave. 2s come twice, 3s come twice, 1s come twice, but 4s only come once. Okay, so here we go. We're going to try it nice and slow. Make sure your connections are really smooth. Nice even sound. No accents. Okay, let's try left hand. So, what fingering do we have on D's, okay? So we have 3 in the left, 2 in the right, okay? We're going to try something. I want you to just try from this octave, D flat, 2 octaves above middle C, or 1 octave plus 1 note above middle C. Okay, I want you to just try going up. And then in this one, I want you to come down. Okay, now real slowly. As many times. Maybe you just start with 1 octave. So that feels good. Then do another one. Okay, now let's try both. Okay, and then come back in. 1 octave. 2 octaves. Okay, and you take each of those pieces. I'm going through this rapidly just to save on time in these videos, but you can do that as many times as it takes right hand, many times as it takes left hand, and then put them together. Okay, now let's try just doing up 2 octaves, then stop. Okay, now lift, just so you reset your hands. Lift, and these are stopping points. The reason I'm lifting is if you have any screw-ups, you can go back and do that little piece again, okay? Okay, let's go up and down 2. Out 2. Down 2. Okay, and then you add up gradually. So you could do 2 groups. So you could go up 2 and then out 2, and then stop, and then into, up, down. That's 2, and then those. So out 2 and then down 2. And I'm just going to show you what it all sounds like connected. Sometimes I cross under too far to there. So I just have to focus on that. You'll also notice as you go through that mentally you can fix problems a lot quicker than you can physically. So rather than just drilling it mindlessly, like I've even heard people like, oh yeah, I'm just going to read a book while I do my hand exercises. That's pretty lame, because what you're actually doing when you're doing these types of exercises is building mental strength just as much as you are physical strength. You're focusing on hands being exactly together, perfectly even sound. So it's not just physical, it's all mental, okay? Try C sharp minor. Let's go over the fingerings. Okay, so there is such thing as D flat minor, but it just has so many flats that C sharp minor is a little more friendly. Okay, so we start with a 3. 4 is on D sharp. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go 2 octaves. Cross over to a 4 when you're coming down on D sharps, okay? All right, so let's go on to our next one. Left hand, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then if we were going to continue going, we would go to a 3. 4 on F sharps. Okay, here we go. Something you can do if you're feeling a little off balance, pretend like you're sitting on a horse, so that when you go up and when you come down, you can transfer your weight into each individual leg and down into your feet like that. Okay, so let's try to slowly, just straight through. Again, you can break it down into pieces, but just for time's sake, we're going to do the contrasting motion just all in one go here. I didn't practice this particular scale on contrary motion before, so that was a little shaky for me. I was a little nervous, so I'll go ahead and give it a little try a little faster, but I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. Let's see. Okay, let's try it a little slower. Say this is a tough scale to start out with if you haven't done this. So go back and watch my C major video if you need help with just the basics of scales. But then you can also try doing contrasting motion, because like something like C major or G major, let's take G major for instance. It's really easy because your fingering is mirror image. So 1s, 2s, 3s, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. That's why C sharp minor is a challenge. Let's see. Because your hands are crossing over at different times. I'm always messing up on the 4. So again, you could just sit and work on each individual piece. You notice that coming back in for me is the hardest part. Let's see. D sharps are my 4s. I would just do that. So that feels good. Now let's try it again. I still am missing that. So I just sit and work on that. I'm just going to move on just for time's sake. But again, you solve your problems by diagnosing where the problem is and then working that specifically. A lot of students say, okay, there's my problem. Let me start all the way back at the beginning, and then they mess up till there. And so each time you do that, you're wasting all of that time rather than just diagnosing here and then building outwards. So you noticed I got better at coming in. So I might do a bunch of times till that feels really good. Okay, this is easy. Sure enough, it's starting to feel better already. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to our arpeggios. All right, so let's go ahead with D flat major. Okay, so you have a couple options of whichever finger you'd like to start with, 2, 3, or 4. If you want to keep things consistent, you can start with 4. 4, 1, 2, 3. Sorry. 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Okay, you could also start with like a 3 or a 2. I think 3 is probably the most comfortable for me, but whatever you like is fine. Okay, that's not a big deal, whichever note you start with. Again, 4 is a little more of a stretch, which is why it may not be the best option. 2 might be a little bit awkward because you're going to a 2 right there. So that's why 3 may be the best choice, but again, it's up to you. But make sure to follow 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4 as you go up. All right, left hand's very easy. 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. Again, we're just trying to get acquainted with the keyboard right here. Go nice and slow and do it at a tempo to where you can be very flexible and kind of floppy almost. Until you start getting better at it. Okay, now, arpeggios are a little bit limited so far as you're not going to be doing big bouts of going up and down because you have to be spread out so much for arpeggios. So it's not nearly as many notes as the scales, obviously, but what you can do is you can just try. So start with a 2 on the D flat here, and let's just try going. It's like you're diving down into the pool, grabbing something, then coming back up. This one's like you're jumping off the ground and then landing. Okay, now let's try. Let's see, start with a 2 here, not a 4. 4 in the right, 2 in the left. Oh, good grief. Okay, I'm making all my mistakes coming back in. Going out is fine, so let's just try this slow. Now, if it's still not working very much, what you can do is you can build gradually. So I might take this, 2 and 1. Until that feels good, and then okay. I'm going to practice eyes closed in the left hand. I'm crossing over 2 big, I think, here, so I got to get to that 4. Okay, now. So if you're ever making mistakes, figure out what am I doing wrong? Am I crossing over too small or too big? Am I overshooting it or undershooting it? Until you can get that, because that's a tough crossover, because you're crossing over to a 4, which is a weak finger, and you're doing it onto a black key, which is skinnier than the white key. So it can be a little challenge. You can slip off very easily on either side. Let's try. work on this for a little bit. Again, I don't do these a whole lot, these like arpeggios in contrary motion. It's really good for you because it develops independence, especially when you're doing it eyes closed. Exactly where your fingers are, eyes closed, is really good. Okay, let's move on to C sharp minor. All right, so again, you can start with a 4 here, or you can start with a 2 or a 3, whatever's more comfortable. 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4. 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1. Let's just try up and down slowly. Feels a little shaky, not totally accurate in my left hand, so I'm going to try left by itself. Let's see. Not together. It's right. That's what's screwed. Okay, it's still not perfect in that faster tempo. So it's fine in that tempo. So if I wanted to get it faster, I would just practice little pieces again. Maybe you throw on your metronome to help you gauge little bits at a time, and then you work it out until it gets faster. Sometimes raw mental power too can help you. You notice that was a little bit cleaner than the time before. It's just because I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, gosh, people are paying for this video and I'm screwing it up. So you can fix it with raw mental power as well. I'm just going to have to work that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on. Let's go to triads and inversions. All right, so let's go over all the basics first. 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. Okay, left hand, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 2, 1. The reason it's different than in the right hand because our hands are mirror images of each other. So you notice we do 5, 2, 1 in the left hand when we have the fourth on the bottom. In the right hand, we have 5, 2 on the fourth as well. Okay, so it's just different inversions. Okay, drop this one, the third, a half step to get to minor. Diminished. Slide back to major, and then raise that to get to the augmented. Again, on augmented, I've mentioned this in other videos. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5 is fine. You don't need to do the 1, 2, 5. That's really awkward. Okay, let's try them all. Now, let's try, this is actually the first time I've tried this with these chords, so this will be an adventure, all right? So we're just going to try one chord at a time. I would show you how I would do this I'm going to show you how I do this really quickly. Okay? Then come back in, then add one more. Then that's really good for your brain power there. They say that when you're listening to music, especially when you're playing music, especially an instrument like piano, where it's not only where you put your fingers, which notes you press down, different combinations of notes, different hands, but also gauging the depth and the strength with which you play. They say that more areas of the brain are lit up when you do that than I think any other activity you can do as a human being. I might be wrong on that, but it's one of the most stimulating activities for your mind mentally. So you could make a fun little exercise out of it like that. I'm a little nervous for this diminished. Turned out okay. Okay, so that's another fun little exercise you can do to spice things up and get your brain working in the opposite directions. Because like, I've mentioned this a lot in these exercise videos, but these chords at the beginning of the Grand Polonaise by Chopin. You can tell doing that, and then, you know, same thing here. Outwards, inwards, outwards, inwards. You have a lot of that contrary motion. So there are instances in music where doing these exercises is going to be extremely beneficial. All right, let's go ahead and move on to seventh chords. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take, I'm going to do this one hand at a time so you can see the notes very clearly. But we're just going to take a triad with an octave on top, step it down a half step to get to C natural, D flat, F, A flat, C natural. Again, you got to spell it like that. You don't want D flat, F, G sharp, because when you get rid of all your sharps and flats, so D flat, F, A flat, C, get rid of all the flats there. So it'd be D, F, A, C. Are they stacked in thirds? Yes, they are. So that's how you spell it, okay? Now, to get to D flat dominant, we just lower this down. What would this note be? Would it be B natural, D flat, F, A flat, B natural? No, it would be C flat. Or if you wanted to respell the entire chord to a C sharp dominant, it would be C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, B natural. Again, C, E, G, B. Yep, those are stacked in thirds. So that's correct. That's the seventh chord. Okay, that's your C sharp dominant. Okay, to find minor, drop your third down. C sharp, E, G sharp, B. To find half diminished, drop this. C sharp, E, G, B. Okay, and then to find your fully diminished, drop your seventh down. C sharp, E, G, B flat. Okay, let's try all of these in inversions. I'm going to go one hand still so you can see it really clearly, okay? Maybe you're getting bored with these and you want to add a little crescendo like I just did. Or maybe you do the opposite for diminished or dominant. Let's accent every other note. Let's accent the opposite. Okay, and then all strong. That and watch that as many times as you need. Again, inversions are just simply a reordering. So I'm putting the C sharp on top, put the E on the top, G on the top, then you're back to root position. Okay, let's do it hands together. Slide down to dominant. Sorry. totally diminished. Okay, now let's make a little exercise. Maybe we'll go up an octave so you can hear it a little better. Okay, now let's go to half diminished. We're just going in the opposite order. So we started with diminished. Let's go half diminished. Let's go to minor. Let's go to dominant. Kept going. Now go to major. Oh, messed it up. Alright, so those give you all of your exercises for this contrasting and parallel motion. Sometimes people call that the Russian technique. Let's go ahead, and I still think, yeah, we still have time. Let's just recap everything. Oh, good grief. With just a thought. This is from a book by Reginald Gehrig. Great book. If you haven't read it, it's a big, fat, thick book, but very fascinating. It's called Great Pianists and Their Technique. And I can't remember. I think it was Hans von Bülow that said this, but I could totally be wrong. Let me know if you've read the book and you know who I'm talking about so I can start quoting this correctly. I don't have my book with me or else I'd look it up. He said, playing the piano is not just... He said something to this effect. Playing the piano is not just pleasurable because of the sounds you make, but it's also pleasurable because of the way it feels, like kinesthetics, the physical movement, feeling those chords kind of go out and then come back in and work in harmony. It's a really cool way. It sounds really cool, but it also feels really good. It's like a very therapeutic way to de-stress. So not only is this series meant to just help you learn your scales and arpeggios and triads and seventh chords and give you some new ways to offer or to practice those things, but I'm trying to offer you ways to kind of unwind and de-stress and really practicing. If you've got 10 minutes at night and you've had a really stressful day at work, I don't know what it is, but the simplicity of this and how everything works in harmony and the way your hands move so flexibly and in control as you work to get this better, it's very therapeutic and peaceful. So I hope this video has been helpful. My email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com if you have any questions. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your support of Pro Practice.